He says, "No, Arnold, we can feed the ducks later. Come on, let's go fly a kite at Big Hill." And he picks up the kite out of the stroller. I guess that's why I didn't notice the kite earlier, because it kind of blends in with the stroller. Like, the design's made up of 4 triangles, 2 of which are the same color as the seat in Arnold's stroller, that shade of blue, and the rest are like kind of a turquoise green. There they are at Big Hill, going up to the top, and Kipper's carrying Arnold on his shoulders. Big's pushing the stroller. Kipper finally puts Arnold down when they get to the top and says, "Whew, there we go, Arnold. Should we fly the kite now?" And Arnold nods yes. When I was a kid, I always thought nodding meant no, like the word nod, because you would think that if nod and no both start with the letter N, then they would mean the same thing, because people often say that shaking your head means no, like left and right, but the fact is you can shake things in any different direction, up, down, left, right, in, out, upside down, whatever. But as a child, it took me a while to realize that nodding means yes, and shaking your head means no. Nodding is up and down, shaking your head is left and right. I think. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. You can correct me if you want to. And Pig hands Kipper the kite and says, "Here you are. You do it. I'm exhausted." And Pig flops down Arnold's stroller. Goodness. Pig looks a little bit big in that stroller, but not too terribly big. And Kipper hands Arnold the roll of string, says, "Here you go, Arnold. You hold this." And then he picks up Arnold and says to Pig, "And you hold this." And then just plops Arnold right into Pig's lap. Pig says, "Oh, mind the bread?" Because he'd been holding the bag of bread in his lap a second ago. At first I thought Pig meant like saying to Arnold, "Do you mind if I hold the bread?" But I think when he said mind the bread, he meant like, "Watch out for the bread. You're about to sit on the bread." Arnold's little smiles are so cute in this. Wow, when they show the full view of the hill, the outlines of the characters are really thick, so they must have like zoomed all the way in on a tiny picture there. So Kipper's holding the kite now, and he's running along and tossing it into the air, and he says, "Hold the string tight, Arnold." Now the kite's in the air, it's flying, and Kipper's jumping up and down cheering, and Pig's cheering too, even though his face isn't moving. Kipper runs back to Big and Arnold in the stroller and says, "Look at it go!" And then the stroller nudges a little bit, like that. Like it kind of goes forward a little bit. I'm in a chair with wheels in case you didn't know. And little by little, the kite is pulling onto the roll of string, which is being held by Arnold, who is being held by Pig, who is sitting in the stroller. And so now the stroller's moving a little bit, and Pig's looking down at the wheels and says, "Look, it's pulling us along." There's another word with G at the end, along. He says it's pulling us along. And while the thing's moving, Arnold's still trying to suck his thumb. And then as the stroller inches closer and closer to the hill, it's about to start rolling down pretty soon, and Pig says, "Hang on, Arnold, we're going for a ride." And there they go. And Kipper starts chasing them. "Wait for me," he says. Oh, this is the funny part. There they are rolling down the hill. And then Kipper tries to hold on to the stroller, and he's got his feet on the back of the stroller, so they're all rolling down the hill saying, "Whoa! My goodness, this is crazy!" As the stroller goes down the hill really fast, the wheels are going clickety clack, clickety clack, clickety clack, clickety clack all the way down the hill. And Kipper's kind of losing control of the stroller. It's kind of leaning left and leaning right as if it could topple over any second. I wonder how they were holding the bread bag, because Pig had both of his hands on Arnold, and Arnold was holding the kite string with one hand, and he had his other hand in his mouth. Arnold must have quite grabbed the bread bag at one point, where we couldn't see with that small angle. And oh no, there he goes! Arnold's going up! Hey, how appropriate. We were just talking about a situation like this in the previous episode of Frog and Toad, the kite. Arnold's going up in the air, holding the kite string with one hand and the bread bag with the other. And Kipper's shouting, "Arnold, hang on! Don't let go!" Yeah, if you're up in the air like that, you definitely don't want to let go, or else you're going to fall pretty far and hurt yourself. Especially when Arnold's as high up in the air as he is, because I guess Frog and Toad and their friends, they were fairly close to the ground when they let go. Because didn't they let go to finally get back on the ground? And then the kite just kind of floated back down to them? I think that's what happened. And I guess Kipper was so busy shouting to Arnold that he kind of lost control of the stroller, and when they get to the bottom of the hill, they crash and tumble all over the place. Pig falls out of the stroller, and they're all tumbling all over the place. Sheesh! That's gotta hurt! Yeah, the entire first half of this episode was very chill, not a whole lot happened. But now this part here got really exciting. And so they just abandon the stroller and they start chasing Arnold across the hills. He's still flying way up there, but Pig can't chase him fast enough. He, out of breath, he says, "He's no good. He's getting away from us." A little bit later on, they get back to the slide, and there's the kite with the string all tied around the red railing of the slide, and we don't know how it got there. So Kipper and Pig run over to the slide. They found the kites, but Kipper says, "Where's Arnold?" Now Pig's really worried. He says, "Oh dear, what's happened to him? He must have let go and got squished. Oh." Okay, that seems a little confusing to me when I was little. When I was like 2 and 3 years old, I always thought that Pig was saying like, "I got squished," meaning that he was still sore from that tumble at the bottom of the hill where they crashed out of the stroller and everything. But no, wow, Pig is thinking that Arnold must have let go of the kite string and fell down and killed himself, aka got squished. That's a pretty interesting way to mention possible death in a kid's show. Got squished. Man, that is dark, but kind of cute too. Also, the fact that the kite was all wrapped around the slide railing, made me think that if Arnold had let go of the kites, then wouldn't the kite have just flown away for 10 miles, way past where Arnold let go? I mean, unless the wind died down right away and then just landed at the slide and got the string tangled, or maybe the wind blew the kite into the railing round and round there until it was tied. I don't know. But I always thought that Arnold simply flew with his kite and then just, when the wind calmed down, landed there at the slide and then wrapped it around the railing himself and then just walked off. So anyway, Pig is so worried right now that he doesn't notice that there's a duck walking along right there, and the duck is eating something off the ground, and now the duck is climbing up the slide steps and tapping at each step with his beak going, "That is really funny." and the duck goes down the slide and flies away. That is hilarious. And then Kipper follows the duck up the slide and then back down, and he picks something up. He says, "Pig, I'll bet these crumbs are Arnold's." He says, "You know, from the loaf." He's holding breadcrumbs. Oh, from Arnold's bread bag. Perhaps Arnold has been eating bread along the way, and he went up the slide and down himself. Yeah, Arnold was definitely there. So he might have put the kite there himself for safekeeping. And I don't know if he was following a duck or if he just knows his way back to the duck pond himself. I mean, you know, Arnold is little, he never speaks. Like, he's a smart little piglet. And Kipper and Pig kind of underestimate him. So Kipper and Pig are looking down the ground, and Pig says, "Look, there's one." Probably sees another breadcrumb. "And another one," which means, "and another one." But when I was 2, the way Pig said it, I didn't have a clue what he was saying. It sounded like, "and down the wag," which doesn't make any sense at all. I mean, it sort of made sense that it sounded like the word down was in that sentence because Pig's pointing down at the breadcrumbs on the ground there, and he's with a dog, and dogs wag their tails, so, and there's a dog following him. So that was my 2-year-old logical thinking there as to what Pig said, but nope, it was, "and another one." Another one. Yeah, Arnold's retracing his steps. He went back to the seesaw. They're following the trail trum there, and Pig's sort of walking across the seesaw. The one that's on the ground is closest to him, and he walks onto it, and the other side lowers down, and he jumps off of it. And Kipper says, "Here's one," when they get past the swings. He actually sees more than one, there's lots of them. And sure enough, yep, there's little Arnold, sitting there at the duck pond. He's got his bread bag with him, and he's tossing little pieces of bread out to the ducks, and he's doing that in between each bite, because Arnold's feeding himself as much as he's feeding the ducks. He's been feeding himself all day with that bread. It's funny how Arnold kind of snorts when he eats. He goes, and you can see his nose moving like that when he chews. And Kipper and Pig found him. There he is, Arnold! And Kipper looks happy, and Pig is looking, I don't know what that expression's supposed to be, like, I don't know, half of him seems like he's glad to see Arnold again, and the other half is a little bit disappointed that Arnold got away before with the kite. Like, he's slightly annoyed with Arnold for running off to the duck pond by himself. But at the same time, Pig is glad to see Arnold again. And Kipper can kind of tell that Pig looks a little uneasy, because he kind of glances at Pig once or twice with a little bit of concern. And then he finally says, "Let's have a go then, Arnold. Give us some bread." And so Arnold holds out the bread bag to Kipper and Pig, and the three of them feed the ducks together, and the three of them also eat some bread themselves. Arnold gives them some more bread for them to eat, and they just sit there and sigh as the picture zooms into those three. And after a few seconds of silence, aside from birds singing and ducks quacking, well, I guess that does count as birds singing because ducks are birds. Ducks quack, that's their way of saying. And then, historic moment, Arnold says his very first word, "Duck!" And Kipper and Pig were not expecting that. They gasp and smile as Arnold happily continues feeding the ducks and sucking his thumb. Okie dokie, so that was Kipper the dog, Pig's cousin. And that was one of my absolute favorite episodes of Kipper the dog when I was a kid.